Thank you very much, Teresa. I'm going to talk about teaming. It's something that's been around for quite a while, and I'm sure everybody's heard of it, but you might not have decided that it's something for you. And it is, in fact, an excellent strategy. But let me just step back and tell you why we've gotten to where we've gotten on teaming, which is valuable as a strategy at the local, at the state, at the federal level, and even in corporate America. Since my specialty is the federal government, I'm going to do it from that point of view. There was a time when there were about a handful of large companies which were supplying the entire federal government with their products and services, and they had it captured. There was legislation enacted to give opportunities to small business, and then the agencies started setting aside and taking their large contracts and breaking them up into smaller pieces in order to create opportunities for small businesses. What happens? Over time, this has created a huge administrative burden for the agencies. And now they're not bundling, because they're not bundling, but they certainly are packaging their procurements a little differently. And that sometimes can create a problem for small business because there aren't as many opportunities for small business. And here's where teaming comes in. You can find the most perfect opportunity. It looks like it was written for you. It's got your name. It's perfect for you, but there's one element that you cannot do. There's one element that you cannot fulfill. You can either walk away, or you can team with another company that can offer that service, and together go after a contract so you don't lose an opportunity. Now, there are different types of teaming. Partnerships. A partnership is a type of teaming, and you all know about partnerships. Joint ventures, very much like partnerships, but they have a beginning and an end. They're usually for a particular requirement or particular service. For example, part of the Department of Defense is going to be moving to Guam. You have a construction company and you want to do some of the construction in Guam. You can create a joint venture with another company because you're specifically going after opportunities in Guam. Another great way of teaming is the mentor-protege program, and Teresa spoke about that. It's very near and dear to her. The mentor-protege program is a great way to access federal contracting and to get experience. You have the experienced company, which is the mentor, who shares not only their experience and their resources and their contacts, sometimes there's even a financial incentive, and the protege, which is that newer company that needs to get into the play of federal contracting, maybe doesn't have all the financial resources it needs in order to be successful, or doesn't have all the contacts. There are many agencies that have mentor-protege programs. I'm just going to mention a few of them. It's not all-inclusive. The Department of Defense, that's the granddaddy of all the mentor-protege programs. NASA has one, as does the Department of Energy, Department of Homeland Security, the Treasury Department, the FAA. Small Business Administration has one for its 8A firms, and I know they're exploring opening it up to all the certifications. And the GSA, just in 2009, started their mentor-protege program. So if you're interested in this type of a relationship, go to the agency and see what their requirements are, because they can be different. In some agencies, you'll find that there's an approved list of mentors. In other agencies, you have to go form your own team. So look at the agency and explore how they want to have their mentor-protege program set up. And then the other type of teaming is the prime contractor-subcontractor relationship that is actually teaming. And there are also contract teaming arrangements where you come together as a team to go after specific contracts. I've seen at the federal level, and I was with the Department of Transportation, the teams that are put together in order to supply services are very mission-oriented. You're teaming with a purpose. You're not just teaming to team. If you have an IT firm, you can team with a janitorial company. There's nobody that says you can't, but how often are you going to see a requirement for janitorial and IT services? You're not. So when you do your teaming, you're being very methodical. You're thinking about what you can do. There are increased capabilities. If you think about your capabilities and that of another company, together you have increased capabilities. When you increase your capabilities, you're increasing the opportunities you can actually go after. One of the most important things of teaming is picking a teaming partner. I mean, that is essential. you want to make sure that you look at the core capabilities of potential teaming partners. Is it compatible? You can team with competitors. There's no reason why you can't team. Just make sure that it's compatible. Like I said, IT and janitorial. You want to make sure that there's logic there. Market niche. Is there actually a demand for what this team offers? Is the government actually buying what this team offers? In that sense, you can look at construction and design. Some agencies used to purchase their design services separately from their construction services, while other agencies have decided to bundle it into design build. So if you have a design company and you want to go after opportunities at an agency that does design build, well, then you have to think about teaming with a construction company. So look at the market niche. Past performance. You want to make sure that whomever you team with has solid past performance. You want to make sure that their financials are in order. You want to make sure that they have good industry reputation and that they can work well in a team, because you can put it all together and it sounds perfect on paper, and if the personalities don't mesh, it's not going to work. And make sure that there are no conflicts of interest. And the example that I like to use is myself when I was with the Department of Transportation. For a year after I left the Department of Transportation, I couldn't work directly on any projects that I had worked on when I was at DOT. So if you were going after one of those opportunities, you certainly didn't want to team with me, because I would have created a conflict of interest for you. So you want to make sure that there are no conflicts of interest. When you have teaming, you have an increased access to resources, which include access to increased capital, increased bonding capacity, which is very important. Key personnel. Sometimes it's just a matter of acquiring the services of key personnel that you couldn't hire because maybe it's just unaffordable or they're unavailable. You can acquire these services of these key personnel through teaming and equipment. So when you're thinking about teaming, what you want to do is you want to take stock of your competencies. What is it that you bring to the table? What is it that you offer? What are your resources? And you have to be honest about your strengths, and you have to be honest about your weaknesses, because that is important in teaming. You have to be honest. Make sure you get your house in order. Make sure to build and maintain relationships. You will hear time and time again that work at the federal level has to do with relationships and building those relationships over time. Make sure you've obtained all the certifications that you qualify for. Make sure when you're thinking of potential partners that you go deep. You want to get to know this potential partner. If you go to an event and someone asks you, how's business? You always say, it's wonderful. Meanwhile, you don't know if you're going to make payroll on Friday. But you don't say that. What you want to do when you're looking at a potential partner is to go deep, go past the superficial. So do your homework on potential partners. Get everything in writing. Teaming depends on a written document. It is a teaming agreement. Partnerships, partnership agreement, joint venture agreement, mentor-protege, there's a mentor-protege agreement. You have to clearly define the roles, and you have to be specific. It's not just who's going to do what. Who's going to be the point of contact to the agency? Who is going to do the invoicing? How are payments going to be received? How are payments going to be distributed? Contingency. If something were to happen, how are we going to resolve it? How are we going to work through problems? Make sure that if you're dealing with proprietary data, that you include non-disclosure language in your agreement. And the most important thing I can tell you about federal contracting is that you must be persistent. It is not quick. It's not easy either, but it's certainly not quick. You must be persistent. And always remember, there's a fine line between persistence and stalking, and make sure that you stay on the right side of that line. Thank you.